Hi, this is a day trade recap. Today is November 17th, and I worked with two stocks today. I only took two trades, one on each of the stocks that I worked with. The market's a bit choppy right now, but in this video, I wanted to go over my trades in connection with the wave count strategy that I've talked about in another video, because this is a really rock star strategy if you can get a handle on it and get good at it, especially if you're using it with this target setup that I use, that I've talked about in just about every video that I do. I use targets. I'm a big fan of drawing targets, and I have a really nice setup for that. But anyway, INM, let me just talk about how this worked. This one came out the gate. This is a super cheap stock, the dollar range. I don't usually trade stocks like this, but there wasn't a lot going on today. So, you go where you got to go. It had made this really nice move, which I didn't trade on because I heard about it, I heard it on my scanner. My scanner talks to me, right? So I heard this thing going. I'm like, oh, okay, well, check it out. So I waited for it to finish this first wave so I would know what the next wave would be. Because, wave three, that's this next up wave, is always bigger than this one. So it's always worth waiting. Okay, so I clicked here because can you see there's kind of a red line right there? My indicator thing that I've put together here, it gives me a little resistance level. It puts it in red, and I like to click on that. Then I come down here where my buy signal was, and I just click there. So my top click is here for my target, and my bottom click is here, and that puts the rest of these lines on, okay? So after I've got my lines on, I'm just waiting for it to come down, sell down to, remember yesterday I told you about the yellow line and the white line that I have on here. If I get a buy signal any above either of those two lines, I'll get in because I know it's going to go up to this level next, okay? And so my buy signal did show up right here. My entry was actually $8 or $1.81. And that's fine because my target was $2.30. And as you can see, it had no trouble getting there. So, like a 51 or a 50-cent trade on a super duper cheap stock. So this was a great trade, okay? And I was able to leverage, quite a few shares on that one. So went very quickly, about 15 minutes or something was all that took. So now I was looking for another trade. I did kind of keep watching this one for a few minutes, but it broke the rules, right? My rule is for it to continue to the next line, this is my next target right here. It's just a little scalp from here to here. But for it to do that, it has to hold these levels, right? It can't go below this blue line, and it went all the way down to the green line. So I knew that wave 4 was just too deep and it was going to chop. And usually wave 4 will chop, but this was a little bit too excessive. The sell down was just too deep. And as you can see for the rest of the day, it wasn't attractive. If you're a range trader, you could have traded this range. What that is when I do range trading, I'll come down and I'll get a little lightly shaded box. I'll draw one and I'll start, where the top looks like, and down to this level, this support level, and I'll just draw, to there to shade, and know that if I get a buy signal at the bottom of the box, I'll get in there and go to the top. And that's the only way you can trade a range, right? Because it's going to be choppy, and this is quite risky, right? But you don't want to chase in here because there's not enough range to chase. So you wait till you're precisely down at the bottom and you're going to get out of the top. But you see how this first one didn't go to the top? You would have been chopped out or stopped out if you had got in here waiting for it to go all the way up here, but it didn't. It just went down. So I don't very often trade a range like this, especially on a cheap stock. But anyway, that's INM. It turned out to be this wave, which I always know this is wave number 3, right? First wave is 1, the pullback is 2, the next wave up is 3, and the next pullback is 4. And you're hoping for a wave 5, but that will only occur if it holds, the levels that I have on here. So didn't occur, didn't get that. So I was pretty disinterested in it after that because I knew it was going to be a while before it set up again. So the next one was BLNK. That's why we have rules. Whoops. It helps us know where to keep our attention. Now look at this chart. BLNK this is a EV charging type electric vehicle charging station company. Same type of move right out the gate. It did this thing. So I did the same thing, and I didn't see it till, because I was busy with the other trade, but I kind of saw it right here as I actually got in really quick. It was just setting up, had a little sell signal, then I had a buy signal, so I got in kind of late, but I knew there was still some room. It made sense for me to take it to this next level because it was setting up. It was showing me exactly where it was going to go. So this was the first wave. I put a number 1 at the top of the first wave. Here's wave number 2 coming down. Look where it came down to. It held this level, right? It held the yellow. It didn't even come down to the white. Oh, it did come down to the white, but it bounced up, held the yellow, gave me a buy signal right at the yellow. So I know that it's going to make it all the way up to this next yellow, which will be the final target. And it did. It did just fine. So 48.81 was the target. But I didn't see it until here. So I actually got in at, let's see, it was 8:37 my time this morning, and and it was only like a 20-minute trade, so similar to the last one. I got in at $40 or $47.07 and got out at $48.81. Hit my target dead on. See, so it made sense to just take this all the way up. If I zoom in, you can see, hey, that wasn't too scary, too bad at all, and it made it perfectly. And then again, after that, I'm sitting here watching it after it hits a target and I sell, and I'm trying to see if it's going to hold these levels that it needs to hold in order to get to this line right here, this $50.20 level, because that would have made sense. If I get a buy signal somewhere in here, this would have been, $48.81. That's another $2 or whatever, and that would have been worth it. It's just a little scalp, really, but as you can see, it didn't. It broke the rules. It couldn't hold these levels, and then it came down to this line, kind of tried to hold it, but it didn't, and then it just did this. So all bets are off at that point. I mean, it may set up, sometimes stocks that break rules do set up again and take off, but it takes time, and this thing never did it. So, but that's all I did today. And those 2 trades, they were the wave 3 trades on this. And this is going to be your strongest wave. And even if you're late, just wait for a reason, a decent pullback. And this one also made sense because look where it is. It was basically at that previous top, and it held it as support and took off and went to the next line. But anyway, if you need help with this particular strategy, this is a powerhouse strategy. It is so rock star. If you get really good at this, it's really easy to identify. I mean, if you can draw lines like this, so simple. I mean, you see this one little spike up, you know that, hey, that's a pretty good wave. I'm going to count that as 1. And if it holds your levels that you drew, you manually put these horizontal lines on here. And if it holds those levels, then you're going to go to your next target. And doing it this way, you'll know exactly where you're going to get in, where you're going to get out, and you're going to be successful. But it takes a little practice, not much. And you definitely need these chart settings, and you need a little guidance on that. But anyway, I'm happy to help anyone who has any questions. If you have any questions, let me know, and we will talk soon.